Paying obeisances to the founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and his disciple, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, and his disciple, Temple President, His Grace Nama Nishtha Das Prabhu. And I would like to once again express my gratitude, my heartfelt gratitude to my Guruji Aisvarya Mataji and to Rashmi Mataji. Because of whose blessings and because of my attending all their classes, I am able to even attempt to do this humbly. So we begin the perfection of renunciation, that is a moksha sannyasa yoga, the chapter 18 or the final chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So we have come to the last stage, and here we begin with Arjuna saying, Kiti Mataji, are you here?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamichhami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesha pratakkeshi nishudhana.
Yes, so Arjuna is saying, "Oh mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation or tyaga and of the renounced order of life, that is sannyasa." And he says, "Oh killer of the Keshi demon and master of the senses." So he uses two words to call out to Krishna, which are very significant. Actually, every verse, when you deeply study, the words which Krishna and Arjuna use to call each other are so relevant to the context, and you can actually sit and study that alone and understand such a lot. For example, here Arjuna is saying Rishi Kesha, and then he's also saying Keshini Shudana. So again, he's also asking the meaning of two specific words. What is tyaga and what is sannyasa? These are very important words. At the final, Arjuna is asking in this chapter. He wants us to listen to this the entire summary. Arjuna wants Krishna to summarize the entire chapter, the entire teachings of the Bhagavad Gita with full clarity. And we can see that in every chapter, Lord Krishna is stressing that devotional service unto Krishna is the ultimate goal of life. So the use of these two words, the meanings are very significant, and it helps us to go through the entire teachings, which is renunciation, tyaga, and sannyasa, which is the order of life. The renounced order, brahmacharya ashram and all those, and the sannyasa ashram. And the other one is just renunciation or tyaga. So these two words, Arjuna wants clarity. And he's using the word Rishikesha, it is my favorite word. Rishikesha is when you talk about Krishna as being the master of all the senses. And if we surrender ourselves completely, Krishna will take over the senses. So that's why in the beginning also, we have heard the great Acharyas explaining that because on the Pandava side, Krishna is just not physically present. Everybody has surrendered all their senses to Krishna, and therefore it is quite natural that they will win, because the Lord is ruling their senses, and he is the one acting through the senses. Because only Krishna says that to the degree in which you can surrender yourself, only to that degree will Krishna take over. Otherwise, he allows us to just follow our own stupid whims and our own stupid choices, which are made with our limited knowledge and our limited understanding, with our limited sense organs. So unless we surrender these material sense organs and see through our transcendental senses, which by complete surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will become Rishi Kesha. He will take control to the degree in which we have surrendered. So that is why Arjuna is requesting Krishna, that you have to take over all my senses. Only then you can help me to attain that mental serenity which I need now at this juncture. So Krishna is basically, Arjuna is basically asking Krishna to help him to be equipoised once more. And now there is, yet in spite of hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita, he feels that there are some doubts. And he's comparing the doubts to, an asura or a demon. One of the biggest asuras, or the most terrifying asuras Krishna has killed, is Keshi, the Keshi demon. Keshi is a very formidable, that horse shaped, as you can see in this picture, the demon who is like huge and so powerful. And Krishna kills him with ease, of course. He's the Lord of the universe, the most powerful of all. And Arjuna is here by using the term, the killer of Keshi demon, or by using the term Keshi Nishudana, he is trying to to tell Krishna, I expect you to kill these demons which are doubts. So doubts are actually in our mind. When they come, they're like demons. When we understand everything with clarity and we completely surrender and we have the faith, only then we will attain, we will attain that supreme peace of mind and bliss which Krishna gives. In so many times he gives us this bliss formula and the peace formula. Now let's move on to 18.2. So this first question is very significant. Every word is significant. So in the second verse, Mataji.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sanyasam Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prahustyagam Vichakshanaha.
The Supreme Lord said to give up the results of all activities is renunciation and renunciation. And Tyaga is called renunciation or Tyaga by the wise. And that state is called renounced order of life, sannyasa, by great learned men. So what we see is a sannyasa is basically giving up of all activities which are, is basically giving up all activities which are related to material desires. So anything that is material has to be given up. And ultimately, what he says is that he says, I want to give the example of Dhritarashtra. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. What is the example I thought of? Dhritarashtra is actually, in Tamogun till the very end. And when Vidura had asked him to please kindly, listen and stop this, tell your son to stop. And Dhritarashtra gets so angry, he actually drives in his madness. He drives Vidura away. And Vidura he just goes away, walks out, and he actually asks Vidura to be killed. And Vidura just walks out, understanding that this is not the place for him. And then at the end of the war is over. He has gone on pilgrimage. He has had many beautiful conversations with sages, and he comes back. And then he once more tries to explain to his brother, Dhritarashtra, who after the war is just sitting there in Yudhishthira's palace and just, taking their services. He says, come on, Dhritarashtra, isn't it enough? Don't you want to at least now give up all your desires and, take up sannyas? So basically giving up all the material desires is about taking sannyas. And at last, Dhritarashtra, he agrees to his brother and he takes up sannyasa, which is a renounced order of life. So that is what sannyasa is. And tyaga is basically giving up the results of all the activities that you're doing. And Krishna says that is the highest form which he wants us to attain. He doesn't want us to give up our work or our duties, which he clearly tells us many, many times. He says that you have to just give up all the results to Krishna. That's all we need to do. That is renunciation. That is tyaga. In 18.3, it's being said, Krishna is saying, some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activity should be given up. But there are other sages who maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. So here we can see that there is a discrepancy. What is a discrepancy? It's very confusing because people have different kinds of perspectives always. That people are different, like how we see there are different faiths, there are so many different kinds of, ways people worship, or people, the kind of things they take to their heart, and they will always be subjects of contention. So it's agreed that everyone has a right to have a different perspective based on their own modes and whatever they have developed. It's fine, and we must respect each one of them for whatever they are. Krishna knows the reason for everything. Yet we must know that the truth is one. And when Krishna is saying it in the Bhagavad Gita that I am the Lord, here I am telling you the truth, then there is nothing beyond that. That is the ultimate truth. So in the Vedic literature, for example, it is mentioned that animal killing is a, when you do animal killing as a sacrifice, then it is mentioned that it's okay. The animal which is killed is not exactly killed because he immediately gets a human body. But there are many other acharyas who will clearly say that animal killing is completely, abominable. It should not be done at all. So that is why there are different kind of, discrepancies are there. And similarly, some are feeling that activities which you should all be given up, including those which require sacrifice, which are related to sacrifice, charity, and austerity. They also should be given up. But here, Krishna is categorically, he is going to declare that you cannot ever give up these three in any stage of life. So this is where he declares this. Yes, Mataji.
Yajnadana tapah karma natyajam karyameva tat yajnyodanam tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam.
Acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up but should be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. So, here we can see the example of Daksha's head is being cut, but yet the sacrifice is continued because sacrifice can never be stopped. So, he continues the sacrifice with a goat's head because more important is that the sacrifice should continue. Why? Because sacrifice is for the pleasure of the god. And Ganapati's head also similarly had been severed, and he got this elephant's head, and this proves actually that the intelligence that we're talking about is not stored in the head as is believed by the scientists. And as Rashmi Mataji has said in several classes, maybe in future they might be able to replace the head and try that experiment of understanding how the intelligence actually is not in the head. The head is just a machine, with all those different connections. The intelligence comes from our consciousness. So that is not proved yet, and don't know when it will be or whether it will be. Krishna knows. So the next is 18.6 in this. Yes, Mataji.
Etanyaphi tu karmani sangam tyaktva palani cha kartavyani me partha nischitam matamuttamam.
Yes, so here we can see a picture of these people. They're saving the animals. They don't have any personal, they're not going to gain anything by saving that. Because in the Shastra, it said that all plants and animals are our brothers and sisters, and protecting them is our duty. It's not for a material gain, but as a duty. So in this verse, it is Krishna is saying that all these activities that you're doing should be performed without any expectation of result, which is a tough thing. That is why we have to keep on listening to the Gita, because these are not easy to do, and we need to keep on telling ourselves that this is what Krishna wants us to do. Krishna, the Lord of the universe who created us. They should be performed. Anything we do should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pritha. That is my final opinion. And in 18.7, 8, and 9, the next three verses, Krishna is explaining that in the mode of ignorance, because of illusion, what we are doing, because we are in the mode of illusion, the renunciation is in ignorance, and we are not able to do, we are not doing a prescribed duties. Whereas in the mode of passion, what happens is the reason for the renunciation is because of the difficulty. People will renunciate when they're in the mode of passion, thinking that, oh my God, this world is very difficult. That's why I want to renunciate. So they're not doing their prescribed duties, and that renunciation is not, is not the one which we should be looking for. And then in the mode of goodness, they are doing the people who are in the mode of goodness when they are renouncing. They do it as a matter of duty. They don't give up anything. They're doing it. They're renouncing only their the fruits of their labor. And only when they reach the highest stage, when Krishna will arrange circumstances when they don't have any more active material activities to perform, only then they will be doing the proper sannyas. So in these three verses, we can see how renunciation is also based on the three modes of material nature. And in 18.13 and 14, thereafter, Krishna talks about the 5 causes for the accomplishment of any action. So Krishna is saying that, oh mighty armed Arjuna, learn from me of the 5 factors. This is again very important, which bring about accomplishment of all action. These are declared in the Sankhya philosophy to be 1, the place of action, the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul. So many times when things are happening to us in our life, we think that, oh, I did this, and then we lament, or something wonderful happens, oh, I did this, and then we rejoice. But we forget that we are only 1/5 of everything that is happening, that any result happens because of the way the place of action is, because of the performer, his different modes in which he's performing, the senses which are under the control of Krishna to the degree in which we are surrendered, the endeavor itself, and ultimately without the sanction of the super soul, nothing, not even a blade of grass will move. So if we understand that, we will stop, behaving as if we are the one in charge of everything that's happening. Then, yeah, so these are the different examples where we have the place of worship is shown, the place of where something is happening is shown, and all these 5, the endeavor is shown, and only if everything will work out, does something, the result only is based on that, and ultimately Paramatma's sanction has to be there, without which nothing happens. In 18.16, Krishna is saying, therefore, one who thinks of himself as the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent. And they are actually not able to see things as they are. With the limited senses and with inability to trust the scriptures. So in 18.18, Krishna is saying that knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower, these are the 3 factors which motivate action. The senses, the verb, and the doer, they comprise the threefold basis of action. So here we are coming to know about knowledge and about action. And Krishna in the following verses is going to explain in detail about these 3 things, about knowledge, about action, about the worker. He will explain that. So it's going to be now a quick revision of the 3 modes of material nature and how they impact everything. So the 3 kinds of the factors which are based on sattva gun, when that is happy, or goodness, or sattva. These are the 3, and the second one is being a disturbed state of mind, or being in the mode of passion or rajogun, or being mad and ignorant, or in the tamogun. And so Krishna begins explaining all these things with knowledge. So it is good if some of you are new to do this chapter. I don't know, I think most of you are highly elevated being listening, so you don't have to do this. But someone is attending this for the first time, could try this out. This is a self-assessment time. You can, in the following slides, you're going to see, you can rate yourself as 1, 2, 3, which category you fall. So 1, if you give yourself 1, if you're in the lowest, which we'll be seeing in the screen, and 2 if you're in the rajogun types, and 3 if you're in the sattvagun. You can find out and put your score yourself. So mark yourself 3, 2, and 1 in the following verses. So what are the kinds of knowledge based on the modes of material nature? That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all existences, undivided in the divided, is knowledge in the mode of goodness. So if you feel that you are having that jnana chakshu, by which you can see oneness in everything, you're able to see everything equally. You don't have any sense of bias or partiality. This is good, this is bad, this is hot, this is cold, this is distressful, this is I like this, I don't like this. You don't have these dualities. And then you are in pure jnana chakshu is there, then you can give yourself a 3. But if your knowledge is now reached a level where you can see the different types of living entities, and you see them different, is seen to be dwelling in different bodies, then you are in the mode of passion or the rajogun. You can give yourself 2 marks. And that knowledge by which you get attached to one kind of work as your all in all, without any knowledge of the truth, you feel I've really not understood all these, I don't understand. And so the knowledge is yet very meager. That means you're still in the mode of darkness. That's where we all begin. We are all actually in tamogun. So you can give yourself a 1 if you feel you're in that level. Then Krishna explains action in further detail. He says action also is based on everything in this world, in this material world, is based on the 3 modes, right? That's why we say material nature is made of 3 modes. So this is what we understand, again and again. Actions which are done in accordance with duty, and you're able to do anything you do. If you're able to do, just try to reflect anything without attachment, and you don't feel love or hate, whatever the result is, and you're able to renounce, by one who has renounced fruitive results. You have renounced all the results to Krishna. You have given them up. Then you can give yourself a 3 out, full 3 marks. And if the action is performed with a lot of effort, and you're working very hard, like a carrot is there, oh, I want to get it, and you're working day and night like a crazy person, no time for devotional service, no time to for your soul or for your spirit. You're just after material desires, and you feel that you're bound with a sense of ego, or I am the manager, or I am this, only I can be in this position, I need to work, if I don't work the world will fall down. And so you're all the time running after, or I need this, I now need the house, I need a car, and or some kind of material desire is driving you crazy to work, that means give yourself 2 marks. Okay, so many of us are doing that actually, like mad people. We keep on working. And then that action performed in ignorance or delusion, without consideration of future bondage or consequences, which inflicts injury and is impractical. So if you're still in the mode, that the tamu, if you feel that you're deluded, You're not able to think that, if my actions are going to bind me. You're not able to think that there are going to be consequences of everything, and then you're off inflicting injury unknowingly. Then you can give yourself a 1. That means you are agreeing that you are still in the mode of tamogun. So please score yourselves. And next is after action. Sorry. The third is the worker. So there are 3 kinds of workers also based on the mode of material nature. Please assess yourself honestly which kind of worker you are falling in. So if you're a worker, again, who is free from material attachments, no false ego, but yet it's not that, oh, I am free from material attachments, I'm just going to sit, I'm not going to do much, the work. It's not like that. If you're able to be enthusiastic in anything you do, you're resolute, you're determined, I'm doing this for Krishna, I'm going to do it my best, and was indifferent to success or failure. And then after you do your best, you have no attachment at all. You don't look for appreciation. Oh, I did my best. And, my boss didn't even notice me. I'm not going to do work this much next time. So this kind of feeling many of us have. So when you're working, we automatically start thinking of what am I going to get from this. But if you are reached that high stage where you can be enthusiastic, resolute, indifferent to success or failure, that means you have now reached the highest stage of worker, where you are devoted, completely surrendered. Give yourself a 3. But if you're a worker who is even little bit attached to the results or fruits of your labor, and you actually, deep within you want to enjoy, you're waiting for your salary, and as soon as it comes, it's not about the regular living, okay? You are looking forward to enjoy, and you're greedy, you want more and more. How much you get, you're not able to be satisfied. You just want more material enjoyment, and you're also envious. Somebody else get a promotion, you're like, I also worked. Why did he? I didn't get it. So you have that envy still within you. There is still a lot of impurity, and you get very moved if you feel that you're always move fast. You are suddenly you're happy. You can see that some people are very, you can see that they're in a state of equanimity. But some people, they're happy and they're sad, then they're angry, and then they are going on moving between happiness and distress. If you are that kind of a person, then give yourself a 2, because that means you're in the mode of passion or in Rajogun. You're a worker of the Rajogun type. And then if you're a worker who is engaged in doing things which are against the scripture, what are the things now. By listening to the Gita, we come to know about what actually is our duty, and what are the things, the 4 things which are not to be done. That is like, meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex and gambling. And if you're able to not follow the injunctions of the scripture, if you're totally materialistic, you're obstinate, you have a tendency to cheat. Of course, we all have the tendency to cheat, but you are, not able to see it, and you're expert in insulting others. You feel that, sometimes there are, we do keep insulting other people unknowingly, and if you feel that you're always lazy and morose, you're always procrastinating, it's difficult not to be. We are mostly doing all that. Then you are a worker and still in the mode of ignorance. There's a long way to go. You can score yourself a 1. So next is after workers, Krishna talks about intelligence or understanding. What is the level of understanding or intelligence that we have achieved? Come, let's score ourselves. So in Krishna says in 18.30, O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done. If you're very clear in your mind about this is what I should be doing, and I'm giving it to Krishna, and this is what I know I should not be doing, even if it is going to be for, it's going to give me some material pleasure. And what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, and what is binding and what is liberating, that understanding. So probably what is to be feared could be, oh my God, I may not be able to remember Krishna when I die. And what should be feared is maybe you're going to fall, maybe, that every time there is a danger of falling from whatever state we are in. It takes milliseconds, even great sages, they fall down. When we have this Muni who was meditating under the Yamuna for years and years. He was meditating, and he just sees, when he opened his eyes temporarily, he sees 2 fish mating, and then the desire comes in his heart, and then he goes and he marries, and then he enjoys material, the material senses, the sense gratification for years and years. And he's fallen down. And then he realizes, oh my God, I lost all the goodness that I had got. So it is so simple, so easy. In a millisecond, you can lose everything. So if you can know what is to be done, and you know what is to be feared, what is binding, what is liberating, then you are in the mode of goodness. If you have clear understanding, give yourself a 3. And if your understanding is such that even now you can't distinguish between this is actually the religious way of life, this is irreligious, or you are between action that should be done and action should not be done. I'm still confused, I'm still confused. I don't understand. And if you feel your understanding is imperfect, no worries. Keep reading the Bhagavad Gita again and again, you'll get it. And keep chanting, you will surely get it. So just do that. But give yourself a score of 2 if you're there. And if your understanding, which considers irreligion to be religion, if your understanding is such that you think that those things which are written in scripture is wrong, you think, that is how it should be actually. I don't understand why it's written like this in the scripture. Or if you feel that something which is religious, which they say that this is what you should do in the scriptures, Krishna is saying this is what you should do, and you feel, no, I don't think so. So you feel religion to be irreligion, irreligion to be religion, and under the spell of illusion. That means you're still under the spell of illusion. The material, the Maya has completely overtaken you, and you're still fully covered with all that, lust and the desire, and you're full, like your fire is full of smoke. You're still contaminated completely. We all keep getting contaminated, okay? There is fire in the material world. There will be smoke. There will be continuously contamination will keep on happening. We need to keep on chanting so that we can remove the contamination and see ourselves. So if this mode of illusion and darkness is there, and you feel that it's always striving in the wrong path, you're in the mode of ignorance. Frankly, I don't think anybody in this group is like that. All are highly elevated devotees. So that is about the mode of intelligence. Fifth, he talks about the determination types. So the O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. So people who are able to be very determined, and when they do their duty, they stick on to it. I will chant 16 rounds. I know this is prescribed. Or I will read the scriptures a little because I have a duty to my soul, not only to my body. I am spirit soul. My duty is to serve Krishna. If you're able to have this kind of determination, I will give everything I do to Krishna. If you're able to be steadfast like that, okay, that is what Krishna says in the mode of goodness. If your determination is unbreakable, it is sustained with, for example, now these scientists who have worked, yesterday the Chandrayaan-3 was a success. They were doing their duty. Each one of them are there in that place, and they've been given that duty. They've done their absolute best, and Krishna has given them success over there. So we can see that if you're steadfast, that by yoga practice, and you can control your mind, your determination is unbreakable, give yourself a 3. But if you feel that your determination is such that you hold fast to fruitive result, whether it is religion or economic development or sense gratification, your determination is entirely bound to fruitive results, and that means you're in the Rajogun. Give yourself a 2. And if the determination cannot go beyond dreaming, you dream, oh, I want to do this. I actually want to, as a teacher, for example, I want to every day be able to say some story where I can teach children the values. And then I'm in a hurry, I forget all that, I open the textbook, I teach and come. So I'm just dreaming big things, right? And I'm not able to do it. And all your fearful, lamentation, moroseness, illusion, these are the different things which are affecting your determination. Your determination is unintelligent. You're in the mode of darkness. You just have big dreams. You're not even trying. You have no determination to try. So accordingly, give yourself a 3, 2, or 1. 6 is the happiness. Happiness is also of 3 types. So Krishna is explaining everything to us so clearly. So in the Sattva Gun, that which in the beginning is like poison and the end is like nectar, which awakens one to self-realization, that kind of happiness is in the mode of goodness. And then in Rajogun, it begins also, no, in the Tamogun, it begins also with distress and ends also in distress. And in Rajogun, it appears to be very nice, and then later on it ends in distress. So that happiness which is blind to self-realization, delusion from beginning to end, you think you're enjoying when you're not doing your work, you're just sleeping and lazy and you're not doing your work, but actually you're in pain when you're not doing your work. And of course, consequence will be also painful if you don't do. So 3 kinds of happiness. That which in the beginning may be like poison. It is difficult. Like Rashmi Mataji always says, coming to this Gita class and sitting and listening, it's difficult. It's like poison. But at the end, what we are getting, what we're learning, if we really focus, is nectar, and it awakens self-realization. That is happiness in the mode of goodness. And happiness which is derived from contact with the senses with their objects. Your whole focus is on your material senses and how they're enjoying the different material objects. Then at first it may be like nectar, but at the end it will be like poison. That is called in the happiness in the nature of passion. And that which will in the beginning blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, arising from sleep, laziness, and illusion, as I just discussed, is happiness in the mode of ignorance. So next is, after this, we have the result. So now you can score yourself at this point of time. All of you can please count. If you got a 3 for all 6, that means you got 18. Perfect. Great. You're a great, you're a very highly elevated person. And if it is near 6, it's not so great. And if it is near 12, you need to pick up your sleeves. So nobody needs to reveal their scores, but if you have done it, then you know where you stay. And whenever we reflect, that is the point when we start making progress. If we just never reflect, we will never understand what we should work on. Then Krishna talks about the ashrama types, actually. So from 18.41 to 18.55, we are going on discussing about the workers. And we come to know here that Krishna is the one who has introduced the Varna system in Hinduism. And we keep on blaming, oh, Hinduism, so all this caste system. But, it is actually present, even if you don't say it, that there is Varnashrama, that it is existing. It is existing in all societies, everywhere. It's just normal and natural. There will always be some people who are doing their service, and some of them will be brilliant at that, who are the Shudra class. And Krishna is not saying anything is superior or inferior at all. So the Shudra is simply in that labor class because of his past moods, and he can anytime be elevated in a minute. He can get realization. There are so many stories, but I think I'll not go into stories. I think you must all remember right now the story of the cobbler and the Brahmin. So where we have the Brahmin who's all the time doing, devotional service, and the cobbler who is simply making his shoes. He's always doing his work, but he is connected to Krishna more. And how, when Narada goes and asks Lord Vishnu, who is going to be, when are they going to get liberated? Krishna says that the Brahman is going to take many, many lives. And he says that cobbler this is his last life. So that's a beautiful story, which I'm very fond of. So Shudra is actually doing the labor. He's a service. He's selflessly just doing service. And the Vaishya is one who is an agriculture merchant. Their job is to be doing the job related to farming, business, trading. The Kshatriyas are the ones their job is to protect the area where they're ruling. So they are the rulers, they're the warriors, they're the administrators. And the Brahmins, they are the priests and scholars and teachers. So actually, Srila Prabhupada wants, the whole world is actually full of Shudras right now in the Kali Yuga. And Srila Prabhupada is being so kind. He's giving the opportunity for everyone to be elevated to the state of Brahman because he wants teachers. He wants teachers of Gita. At the end of this Gita class, I would be really happy if many of you feel motivated to move on. If you've been doing level 1 on and on, move on, do level 2, do level 3. If you're chanting 16 rounds, go straight away. Nam Nishtha Prabhu has created this beautiful platform, where if you're able to chant 16 rounds straight away, come on, take it up, go for Bhakti Shastri. You just need to declare and put a message to the admin that I am chanting 16 rounds every day. And please start the Bhakti Shastri course. I am a student of Bhakti Shastri under Aisvarya Mataji, and because of which I have this beautiful opportunity to be in devotee association and to even talk to you today, though I have no qualification at all otherwise to speak about these holy things. Only thing, these, highly elevated spiritual matters, I have no qualification. It's only because I'm doing the Bhakti Shastri course, and Mataji has feels that I could take these 3 classes, that I'm able to do it. So I request everyone, if you're chanting 16, just go for Bhakti Shastri. It's just once a week class, and you just need to study the Gita very thoroughly, give the exams. There are 2 open, there will be 2 open book exams after every 2 chapters, and then there'll be a closed book exam. And I am right now preparing for my open book exam, the 4th one. And then you'll be studying all the other very beautiful literature written by Srila Prabhupada, the Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Ishopanishad. Your life will be so fulfilled, and then it will prepare you to become a teacher, and then you will be able to reach a state where you can take up initiation. So I really would want many of us to become the Prabhupada warriors and start spreading this message, and sincerely take it step by step and improve our knowledge about it. Srila Prabhupada is blessing. There were many people at the time of Srila Prabhupada. They used to be very angry because Srila Prabhupada would just would allow even Shudras or anybody, doesn't look, even women, anybody, he will elevate them to the position of the Brahmin stage, and he will allow them to become teachers. There would be people who are very angry. What is this? What is he doing? But he is doing it very systematically, and he is following his guru, and he's doing it in parampara. He is just following he says that I have not started anything new by ISKCON. He says that I am just continuing what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna's avatar, has begun. I am just continuing that. It's nothing new. And so we have to try and join. When we see that this is the purpose of our life, once we read the Bhagavad Gita, we understand we're reading the manual of the human life, and we understand our goal. And then if we still are not able to, take this up seriously, I think we have to, maybe we can do level 1 again and again. But please, I request everyone to move on. Level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, or if you're chanting 16 straight, start Bhakti Shastri course. Dear devotees, I request you to do that. So let us look at the 4 types of in these verses 18.42, 43, and 44. Krishna talks about the 4 kinds of ashramas are also based on the material modes. Kirti Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Mataji. Shamodamastapashaucham kshantir arjavameva cha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavajam shauryam tejo dhritirdakshyam yuddhe chapya palayanam Dhanam Ishwara Bhavascha Kshatram Karma Swabhavajam Krishi Goraksha Vanijyam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam Paricharyatmakam Karma Shudrasyapi Swabhavajam.
Yes, so Krishna is saying in 18.42, thank you, Kirti Mataji. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, knowledge, and religiousness. Reflect deeply if these qualities are there within you. If not, work to get these qualities, because then you will be able to be a Brahmana who is ready to be a teacher, to teach all the other different the Brahman. Then you'll be eligible to teach the different those who are the Vaishyas, Shudras, and all those other levels. You'll be eligible to start talking about the Gita. And and then many people, they say I am Brahman, and they feel so proud, but they hardly be having these qualities. Krishna, the Lord of the universe, is declaring that only when someone has all these qualities are they eligible to be called a Brahman. Then however, if you notice that in you, these are the qualities. What are they? If you are very heroic, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and you have leadership. Who is a leader? A leader is one who makes others leaders, who sees the goodness in others, who's a servant of everybody he's working for, who's not proud that, oh, I'm your boss. Okay. So that is not leadership. So the leadership is one who is totally in service mode, who surrenders everything to Krishna. So if these qualities are there within you, that means you are a kshatriya. You're suitable and fit to be a kshatriya. And if your skill is in farming, cattle raising, business, your qualities are that related to Vaishyas or Shudras, where you're doing labor. Actually we are all Shudras, because at least I am, because we take money for service that we are doing. The moment you take money, the moment you are taking a salary, if you're a salaried person, you are a Shudra, because you're just doing service in return for money. Now, those who are in other or all the other 3, whether it is Vaishyas or Kshatriyas or Brahmanas, they will not take money. They will not take money for the service that they are doing. So that is again one of the things which you can understand where you stand. And yes, 18.46.
Yata pravritir yena sarvam idam tamam swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha.
So this is a very important one. So in the 15th chapter, Krishna is saying that the living beings are part and parcel of the Lord himself. And in 7th chapter, the Supreme Lord is saying that, it is by his two energies, the superior energy and his inferior energy, that he pervades the entire universe. So one should be worshipping the Lord with all his own energies, with all his energies. The Vaishnava devotees, they worship the Lord with the internal or transcendental energy. That is the difference in the way they work. And so everyone should strive to be engaged in devotional service so that they can be in full Krishna consciousness. The Supreme Lord himself will take charge of delivering such a devotee. In the chapter 12, verse 7 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tesham aham samuddharta. What does that mean? He says that I will take charge of your delivery. If you become a devotee, what more do you want? Krishna will take charge. Just become a devotee, Krishna will take charge. So this is the highest perfection of life. So here Krishna is saying, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings, who is all pervading, man can, in the performance of his duty, attain the highest perfection.
Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat swabhavaniyatam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham.
Yes, so in the 3rd chapter, Krishna clearly explains that every man should work only for the purpose of yajna. So yajna has been explained in so much detail. Anything that is performed for sense gratification, that is not, yajna. That cannot be considered yajna. Anything you are doing for Krishna, for the sake of Krishna, is devotional service, is yajna. So Krishna is saying here, it is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Prescribed duties according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. So even though you may feel, I can actually do the job of that person much better, please just stick on to your job and do it well. Whatever has been allotted to you, do that well. That's what Krishna is asking us to do. And he says that one can obtain, in 18.49, Krishna says that one can obtain the results of renunciation simply by self-control and by becoming unattached to material things and disregarding material enjoyments. It sounds so simple when Krishna is saying it. It's so tough. You have to be unattached to the material things. It's very tough. I remember Rashmi Mataji always says, Krishna is not cheap. You just don't get Krishna like that. You have to do a lot of sacrifice, austerity, penance. You have to do all these things. Only then you are eligible. You have to be unattached to material things. You have to disregard material enjoyments. How super tough is it? That is only then you reach the highest perfect stage of renunciation. Let's keep chanting so that we reach somewhere close to that. And so you need to think, like, am I a grihastha or am I a griha medhi? So that is the difference between grihastha, who is following the grihasthashram, where he is doing everything only for Krishna. He is doing his family life. He's able to, for example, indulge in sex only when he wants to have a Krishna conscious child. He is able to do only the things for Krishna. A griha medhi is one who is, all the time thinking about his children or his family, and he's doing things for himself and his material pleasure. When you do things for your husband or your wife or your children for their sake, please understand that is actually material. It is material. But the moment you do it for your wife and for your children, you're doing the same thing, but your position is now different. You know that you are the soul and that your actual duty is to Krishna, and then you offer whatever you do to Krishna. That means you are in the grihastha. You're not a griha medhi. Think about it. So knowledge of the soul and understanding that Krishna is in everyone's heart as Paramatma. And he is sitting there and he's calling us back lovingly. The Gita actually is a love letter. Shri Mataji always says the Gita is a love letter. Krishna is calling us lovingly back. Come home, child. Don't we always feel, I want to go home? I frequently, whenever I'm especially in a difficult situation, I feel, this world is not for me. Krishna, take me back home. So we do have this feeling, we know this is not our place. Our place actually belongs to Krishna. We have to be near Krishna. 18.
Brahmabhuta prasannatma na shoshati na kankshati samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param.
One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman. This is a beauty. The moment you realize this position truly from your heart, you're really able to understand your position, you're immediately liberated in this body itself. And such a person, he never laments, nor he desires anything. He becomes equally. These are the qualities which will come. The moment your jnana is perfected, these material contamination will keep on making it dirty. For example, although Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example. He says that fire is pure, but whenever there is fire in this material world, like I said a while ago, there will be smoke. So smoke does not make the fire impure. So in the material world itself, no one can be completely free from contamination. There will always be the smoke. And so how do we remove the smoke? Or how, suppose our mirror is full of dust, the dust will keep on falling. In this material world, the dust will never stop falling. Keep it there, it will, again next day you'll find it is dusty. So what should you do? You need to keep chanting. Only with devotional service, the only way, I can't stress it more, is through devotional service. Only then you can keep cleaning that mirror. Cheto Darpanamarjanam. So we have this shloka which is prayed every day in the Brahma Muhurta in the temple, right? Every time you listen to it, just remind yourself, let me chant. Krishna, give me the ability to always remember you and chant, so that I can keep on removing the dust from the mirror and see myself, and then reach self-realization. Krishna, help me to do that. Help me to perfect in seeing self within me, and getting the self-realization. Then you will automatically, you don't have to try. Once you are doing that, you become a person who never laments, who is not desiring anything, who is equally disposed to every living entity. And in that state, Krishna says he attains pure devotional service to me. Let's all reach towards that.
Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate taddanantaram.
So here Krishna is saying one can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service, and when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter the kingdom of God. So here we have a picture of Narayana and Lakshmi Devi, and we have this picture of the spiritual world. How beautiful is it? Everybody is just serving Krishna so joyfully. They all know their real position as part and parcel of the Lord, and once you know that and accept that, you are in supreme bliss and peace.
सर्वकर्माण्यपि सदा कुर्वाणो मद्व्यपाश्रयः मत्प्रसादात् अवाप्नोति शाश्वतं पदमव्ययम्.
Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my devotee under my protection reaches the eternal, imperishable abode by my grace. Just look at these devotees' faces. There's such a lot of joy. They're sitting beside Srila Prabhupada and, listening. Look at their faces. We should always try to be there. We should just be listening. Just listen to to Prabhupada. I know many of you are constantly listening to Prabhupada's lectures, and you are also, in constant bliss doing that. Let's all just constantly do that.
मच्चित्ता सर्वदुर्गाणि मत्प्रसादात् तरिष्यसि अथ चेत्त्वम् अहङ्कारान् न श्रोष्यसि विनङ्क्ष्यसि.
If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all obstacles of conditional life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but you act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So here Krishna is giving the result of whatever you do. He doesn't say you have to do this. He never says that. He gives us that limited liberty and choice. Krishna gives us a choice, because only when we, with our own choice, when we surrender, we will be able to enjoy the spiritual world, or we'll be able to enjoy that loving relationship with Krishna. Otherwise we can't. So Krishna is clearly saying that if you pass the obstacles of this conditional life, we are conditioned bodies now. Right now we are conditioned. If you are not able to pass over it, if you pass over it, then you are in Krishna consciousness. But if you don't work in Krishna consciousness and you keep still thinking, in spite of listening to the whole Bhagavad Gita for all these 18 days, if you still are not you're getting close to Krishna consciousness, you still have this I am so and so person, and you have this false ego, you're not come to the realization that I am a servant of Krishna, then you will be lost. Krishna is actually telling you, you will be lost. You will not come to close to the goal of life. You won't.
ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्देशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि yantrarudhani mayaya.
All these verses are very, very beautiful. You can try to learn them up. It says the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe Arjuna tishtati. O Arjuna, and he is directing the wanderings of all living entities. So in our heart, in our heart chest region, we have our own jiva, the small jiva, and we have Paramatma. Jiva is the size of 1/10,000, the tip of the hair, and Paramatma is the size of the little finger and the thumbs. Paramatma is of course, Paramatma is all pervading, but in our hearts, the Paramatma is situated, and he is directing everything. He sanctions every single thing that is happening. Jiva is having the limited liberty to choose and to desire and to have different modes, to build upon different modes, and this body is just a machine. And one who realizes that I am not this body, I am the soul, which is the first thing of Bhagavad Gita. That is the first realization, which is Brahman realization. And then he's further taking it up, and he's reaching the Paramatma realization. He sees the Krishna sitting within me and Krishna sitting within everyone. He reaches Paramatma realization, and then constantly reading the Bhagavad Gita, constantly listening to the Bhagavadam. Never, you're not just licking the bottle from outside, the bottle of honey. Bhagavatam is a bottle of honey. You're not sitting there and going on licking it from outside. You are having complete faith in the words of the scriptures. You are understanding Krishna. You are able to love him. You are able to constantly enjoy the taste of the honey by opening the bottle. You're able to be in that true devotional spirit. And these three states of realization you have already achieved. That means now you're on the way. So the body is just a machine. We are there within, the soul. That's the first step. Yes, Mataji. Please tell me 5 minutes. 5 minutes are there.
Tameva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam.
O scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme eternal abode. So what is surrender? Surrender is 6 points. Don't do what Krishna says you should not do. See Krishna as your only guide and protector. Don't see anybody else. You should be able to see only Krishna. And third is you consider Krishna as your only friend. The only person who can really be your friend is Krishna. Krishna, always. Fourth is when you can be meek and humble. That's so tough. Humility is, I think, the toughest thing to achieve. And fifth is when you have no desire other than to serve the Lord. Toughest thing to do. No desire. Just I want to serve the Lord. Day in and day out. Every minute, every millisecond. My breath, everything. I'm surrendering to the Lord. These are the 6 ways of surrender.
Iti te jnanamakhyatam guhyat guhyataram maya vimrishaitad asheshena yatechasi tatha kuru.
So this is a very beautiful shloka where Krishna says, see, I'm telling you all this and I still give you the liberty to choose. I have explained to you the most confidential of all knowledge. Deliberate. He says, don't just decide randomly. Don't do a rash decision. Deliberate on this fully. Think about it. Spend time to reflect and think about all these teachings. And then you can do what you wish to do. I have told you the consequences of whatever you choose to do. You have choice. Krishna has explained it so many times. You have choice. As a Jivatma, Krishna gives us choice. And you have liberty to choose. Do what you wish to do. Sorry.
Anmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me.
My favorite verse. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage to me. These are the 4 things Krishna is saying. Do this. Then you will come to me without fail. I promise you. See, Krishna is actually coming and telling us, I promise you. And he's telling us why? Because you are my very dear friend. No, we are nowhere close to Arjuna. But then, when we try to be, Krishna is there. He is there as a dear friend for everyone.
Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha.
Wow, this is like so brilliant. We have accumulated sins over so many births, and we have so much of sin that we have done. We keep doing, we are still doing. And Krishna says, if only you abandon all varieties of religion. Now, this is remarkable. Actually, he says, give up all. This is very much misconstrued also. It's the most misconstrued verse. People think that, oh, give up Hinduism, give up Muslim, give up Islam, give up Christianity. No, Krishna is not saying anything related to that. Any dharma, anything that you feel is dharma, you just give up, and your only dharma is to surrender to the Lord of the universe, Krishna. Krishna is saying, I am the Lord of the universe. I am telling you, give up all your dharma. I remember yesterday's class also, I was sharing how Krishna makes Yudhishthira give up his feeling that, oh, I am, so truthful. In Onam is coming now. Bali Maharaj is so proud of his generosity. He's so proud of his being a great king. Krishna makes him give it up. He has to give it up. Everything, everywhere. There are many instances where Krishna, if you start just surrendering, Krishna will come. And there is in Chaurashtakam, we have been reading last month, all of us know, Minal Mataji, and we have all been reading that. And how, Krishna is a thief. If you surrender, Krishna will take away everything, and then you will have only Krishna. So he's saying, give up everything. Please surrender only to me. And what does he do in return? Unbelievable. Such a burden of sins, like ocean of sins we have accumulated, and we have so much karma, and Krishna will take away everything. And he says, do not fear. My favorite word, ma shuchaha. Don't worry, don't fear. Come on, just give up everything, surrender.
Idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushrusha vachyam na cha mam yobhyasuyati.
This confidential knowledge may not be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Now, in this verse, Krishna is saying that is giving a warning. He's saying, don't go and speak all these things to people who are not austere, not, because they will make fun of it. They are stupid people, and they will not accept Krishna. They have not reached that level. And when they make fun of these scriptures, then they will incur sin. You will also incur sin, because you have become instrumental in this whole thing. But yet, we have to really thank great devotees who actually come to this world. They actually belong to spiritual world. The people like Nam Nishtha Prabhu actually belong to spiritual world. The only reason that they have come to this material world is to deliver us, and they are taking all the chances, they take all the risk. Because when you are doing, when you are preaching to people who are going to not accept it, then you also incur sin. Krishna is giving a warning. Somebody who's envious, most of the people are envious of Krishna. They don't want to hear only about Krishna. You start speaking only, they want to run away. You start sitting and chanting, they say what. So they are not such people. And then we go and what does a pure devotee want? In spite of that, he's compassionate. He still wants to deliver other people, and he takes risk.
Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshva abhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam evaishyatya samshayaha.
This is a relief. However, Krishna says, if you explain this supreme secret to devotees, just share it. If you can see a devotee, share it, enjoy that. Devotional service is guaranteed when you're able to share the supreme secret in the Bhagavad Gita with devotees who accept Krishna and who just understand that Krishna is God. Then devotional service is guaranteed. And what is devotional service? Is a ticket to go to Krishna, and you can come back to me.
न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन् मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्मात् अन्यः प्रियतरो भुवि.
Krishna says, there is no servant in this whole world more dear to me than he. Who he? He who is explaining the supreme secret to the devotees. Nor will there ever be one more dear. See how selfish I am. I'm able to, and I'm grateful also. I'm having this opportunity to talk about this. And Krishna says, nobody is more dear than one who will share this. So with this, the Gita teaching is over, dear devotees. Now Krishna is giving guidance regarding whom to teach. So this was actually already done, the whom to teach and whom not to teach. And here Krishna says, yes, Mataji.
अध्येष्यते च य इमं धर्म्यां संवादमावयोः Jnana tenaham ishtasyamiti me matihi.
Yeah, so all of you are very, very dear to Krishna because Krishna declares, he who studies this sacred conversation, we are sitting in here and trying to study in a little way, with a humble, with our little intelligence. And he says that if you're studying this sacred conversation in the Bhagavad Gita between Arjuna and Krishna, then you're worshipping Krishna by your intelligence. This is what he declares.
Shraddhavan anasuyascha shrunuyad apiyo naraha sopi mukta shubha lokan prapnuyat punya karmanam.
Here, Krishna gives a Shruti Phala. Just by listening, I remember Rashmi Mataji always keeps on saying this and makes us feel so good. Just by listening to the Gita, you attain the planet of the heavens. And one who listens with faith and without envy, that's a high thing, high standard. He will become free from sinful reaction and attains to planets where the pious will dwell.
Arjuna uvacha nashto moha smritirlabdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava.
Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. So at last, Arjuna is saying, I have now, everything is, my illusion is gone. It's clear. I have regained my memory by your mercy. This is very important, by your mercy. Always remember that if even a little bit of knowledge or bhakti you're feeling or you're getting, it is only because of Krishna's mercy. And Arjuna is saying that it's by your mercy I have regained now my memory, my illusion is gone. And I am now firm and free from doubt. The Keshi Devon, which he spoke in the beginning of this chapter, has been demolished. No more doubt. I know now everything clearly. It's all cleared. And I am prepared now to act according to your instructions. Now, if you have not reached the stage, right, if you don't feel the way Arjuna is feeling at this point of the Bhagavad Gita, just keep reading it again and again. Anyway, keep reading it again and again. Keep doing devotional service and, chanting and reading it again and again. Sanjaya says in 74 to 76, thus I have heard the conversation. Sanjaya is also, so lucky. He says, I've heard the conversation of two great souls and the joy he feels. I hope all of us are able to even feel a little bit of that kind of joy which Sanjaya is feeling. He says, after hearing the conversation between two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so, of course, soul and super soul. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard. Vyasa has actually given him that benevolence of able to see everything that's happening and relate it to Dhritarashtra. So he says, by the mercy of Vyasa, I've heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Yogeshwara Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. I am so fortunate I could hear that. Oh, King, as I repeatedly recall the wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure and I'm thrilled every moment. This height of joy, if you're not able to feel, then we have to really work at this, because this is a supreme knowledge. Is nothing higher than this. Krishna says, Arjuna says, Sanjaya says, Sanjaya is saying that, oh King, when I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, he actually could see that wonderful form. I am struck with even greater wonder and I rejoice again and again. And this is the last shloka. I hope I'm on time today. This is the last shloka where Sanjaya says, and I love this shloka, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvanitir Matir Mama. So Sanjay is actually saying, sorry, King, your sons are going to lose because wherever Krishna is there, victory is certain. So Sanjay is saying, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, because where Krishna is there, Lakshmi is there, opulence is there, and, all prosperity is there, victory is there, extraordinary power is there, Krishna is all powerful, morality is there. The moment you are dedicating whatever you do to Krishna, it becomes moral. There's nothing beyond that. That is my opinion, he says. With that, we come to the end of 18th chapter. So this is a quick summary from 18.1 to 12. Krishna is, it's a discussion of freedom from bondage to karma yoga. Pavanani Manishinam Then Krishna talks about the 5 factors of action. If we think, oh, I am the doer, we are being very stupid, because there are 5 factors for the result, for any action to take place itself. There are 3 modes which control everything. Then Krishna talks about the purification through varnashrama dharma. It's very silly for people to curse the varnashrama, saying that, you know, this is caste system in the Hinduism is a curse for Hinduism. It's created by Krishna. Please understand. And even if you say that there is no varnashrama, wow, a world with no varnas, it is there. It is there. It will automatically be there. That's how it is. 5 people will get together. They're doing something. One will do, you know, they will be doing different levels, but no level is higher or lower. Actually, it's not, we can't even call it levels. But the Brahman platform, Krishna is talking about the confidential knowledge. He talks about all these 3 levels where you are in the Brahman realization, then the Paramatma realization and all that. And finally, when you understand that Krishna, you see, able to see Krishna as a person. The Lord of the universe is a person. Then you develop pure bhakti. You act in Krishna consciousness. And then the conclusion, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna. So then we come to the end of the chapter 18. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for staying with me to listen.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you
Hare
so
Krishna
much.
Mataji.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare
Thank you so
Krishna,
much.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.